Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talk with Antonio. I am your host, Antonio. It's been a long time, people. Yeah, and I want to say this week's episode is going to be about this year's Halloween Horror Nights 2023. But before I get started, I want to talk about why I haven't been recorded as of late. I know when I did record that episode, because I was going to work on Monday, and I was supposed to record the following days. Life gets in the way. I haven't been fully committed. I have to commit because once I did this, I wanted to say I want to do it. And I was like, okay. Like I said before, life hits you. Right now I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff with mental health, and a few weeks ago, this month alone has been utterly shit. And about a few weeks ago, I just finished working my shift with my delivery driving, and I stopped by at a Ralph's on Devonshire in Chatsworth. I wasn't going to go to the gym that day, so I just decided to go get myself a 3-pack of beer. And I paid, and I got out, and luckily this didn't happen for you. So I got on the 118, I drove back home, and I got out. I made a right on Laurel Canyon Boulevard, and when I was about to make a left on Paxton Street, and when I merged into that lane, I heard this loud bang. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, okay, no, not a problem. I thought it was a flat tire, like no biggie. So I was like, I'll move to the right side. But I couldn't even move. I just pressed foot on the gas. I didn't even move. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I get out. Lo and behold, the axle on the left side of the driver's side broken. I was like, fuck. And I was absolutely pissed, people. And I had to call a tow truck. I had to call my insurance company, and my tow truck came to pick it up. And I was like, yeah, they took my car home, and it's still in the driveway. And my mechanic came, and he saw it. I was like, what happened to it? So he said he was going to go look at the junkyard to go find a part and maybe fix it. But then I spoke to my loved ones, and I mentioned to them, like, what would be the case of repairing something knowing that something is gonna break down later on? Because prior to this, and even when I had prior to this, I was already thinking about selling that car. After my rear end, I was like, I don't want that car. I want something new. I want something different, And I was like, okay. And that was the plan. I was about to sell that car, and then I was like, okay. And this happened, and then I spoke to my mechanic people, and he mentioned that then I got a phone call later on from him. He said that even before that, with the whole axle thing, he said that the transmission of my car is going to blow out in any second. So he just said, might as well just sell it. And like right now, I am speaking to my loved ones, and we're just figuring out what we're going to do with that car. So at the moment, I don't have a car of my own. I've been using my loved one's car for work, and yes, I know it's a gas guzzler. It's hitting me on the wallet. So like for the time being, I'm just using my loved one's car until I find another car. So yeah. And right now, let's see what the future holds. I'll keep you people posted. So last night I went to Halloween Horror Nights, and I always look forward. That's like my favorite event of the year. Anything that has to do with Halloween, but this year alone, anything that has to do with Halloween, I always go to not all the mazes, but the ones that I have here in LA County. Like for example, for this year, I kind of feel bad that I didn't go at all. I didn't go to the Haunted Hayride, and I'm pretty sad about that one because I always go for that one. But because of what's going on with my job and money troubles, so hopefully next year. Right now, I am applying for another job, and hopefully I'm with the help of my loved ones, they're gonna give me a loan, and I'll start another business. I'll keep that as a side hustle, and always keep DoorDash as a backup plan. Because right now I did get a letter of recommendation thanks to people that I kind of watched this house in Malibu. I've been watching their house for X amount of years, and they sent me a letter of recommendation. So I'm applying for other housing gigs and another side hustle that I want to do, and focus on those things, and also focus on this, because I am never, ever, ever going to forget about my podcast, because my podcast is very important to me. And yes, I don't have a big audience, ladies and gentlemen, but the people that do listen to me, thank you. It means the world to me. And I am going to improve much, much later on. Trust me. So, and then keep DoorDash and the other delivery driving service as a backup plan. So I will keep you posted. So yeah, for this year's Halloween Horror Nights, yeah, I went last night, and in all honesty, I was kind of disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you. It could have been better, and I don't know if maybe it's just me, but actually I spoke to my nephew about this, and my nephew said the same exact thing. He said that the event has been toned down. And yeah, I have, and I will mention more about this later on prior to finishing this episode. I will talk about more about this. But yeah, I purchased my ticket Unlimited Express a month early and I went last night, and I was very disappointed. Very, very, very disappointed. And I'll tell you right now, and I'll give you my honest reviews about the mazes that I went through. Okay. I didn't start in the order that they have it on the website. Okay, the first one that I went to was Terror Tram: The Exterminators. It says here on UniversalStudiosHollywood.com on the Halloween Horror Nights page, it says, Terror Tram is back, and this time the bugs are taking over. Tour guide Larry Lara and his bug-headed exterminators are out to get rid of the human pest once and for all, and you'll be dropping like fries. And yeah, that was every time I go to Halloween Horror Nights, Terror Tram is a must-do. So I went in there, and I got there. Now, and I think it's been like when they brought back Terror Tram a couple of years ago. There was I forget what year they discontinued it, but they brought it back a couple years ago. But the other in the past Terror Trams, it's been a little bit short, but this time last year and the year before, the Terror Tram has been very, very long now. And I like that, you know. You get to explore more, you see more things and stuff. And Terror Tram for this year's The Exterminators Terror Tram, I would give it, out of 10 people, I'll give it a 7. And I'm not dogging it, no, not whatsoever. I will give it a 7. It could have been a more scary, but I like the fact that it's longer. That's what I like about Terror Tram. Okay, on to Stranger Things. Honestly, people, my honest opinion about Stranger Things, no comment. No comment whatsoever. And I'll tell you why. I don't know. I've tried to watch. I don't have Netflix. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have Netflix. And I've seen a couple of clips of Stranger Things on YouTube. In all honesty, I don't know. It doesn't really click to me. But the maze also, I don't know. I just wasn't really a fan of it. I would say out of 10, I'll give it also a 7. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know if maybe it's because I don't watch the series, or I don't. I just don't have time. I just go to work, come home, take a shower, go to the gym, and that's pretty much it. Do I watch TV all the time like before? No, I don't. But Stranger Things, to me, I don't know. It just doesn't click to me. And this was for Stranger Things 4. And I'll give it a 7. Okay, now for the other one. Oh, this one was, I thought it was okay. There's like a lot of like a negative criticism for this one, The Exorcist Believer. I went into it. I ain't gonna lie, they did scare me. I did yell a couple of times, and it made me jump. And the special effects, you know what I like about when it comes to certain mazes, I've seen like you see a wall, all of a sudden like you can see like it like this you could like a see-through wall. I love those type of special effects, and they in that maze they did it a lot, and it was pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie to you, like the makeup and all that stuff. Yeah, it was pretty gruesome. So out of 10, I'll give that one an 8. And no, I'm not being biased but you know what? Okay. The Exorcist Believer, that was kind of strange that they released the maze before and right before the movie came out, which that was kind of a strange move on Universal Pictures. That the maze came out first, then before the movie. Weird move by Universal Pictures. But yeah, but you know, like if I can compare it to the original Exorcist, the one in 2016 and 2021, no, the original Exorcist, I cannot complain. That one, to me, it's a 9 out of 10, both 2016 and 2021 version. And yeah, okay. Now the other one, The Last of Us. I honestly do not know. I honestly do not know what to say about that one, people. I've never even played the game, and I'm not gonna lie to you. That's another thing. I don't play video games as much as I used to, but I heard about that game, but I never actually played the game. So the maze, I don't know. I really don't have a comment on that one. Out of 10 people, I'll give that one another 7. I'll give that one a 7. I don't know. I don't know if they left out. I don't know how much money the Universal paid to PlayStation or Sony to use the rights for that video game in Halloween Horror Nights. My opinion, I don't know if this is related to Halloween, but I don't know if y'all agree with me on this, but I believe that they should have made a Twisted Metal maze instead of The Last of Us. I mean, that would have been pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's just my opinion. I would have loved that they would have released a Twisted Metal instead of a The Last of Us maze. But that's just me. Okay. Now to another one that was pretty popular, but that one though, the fucking long lines and the long wait. I think the longest one was 100 with general admission was 180 minutes, along with 30 minutes with Express. Chucky Ultimate Kill Count. It says here, Chucky the serial doll killer is back for a new gore fest. He's hijacked his own haunted house with all kinds of bloody hijinks. You and your friends must try to survive his ultimate kill count. That maze, hey man, it's Chucky, and I gotta say it was pretty fun. I actually had pretty fun in that maze. But the one thing that I noticed is like even with Express, it was a pretty long line. In general, like 180 minutes for the wait, just to wait there. Fuck, I can't even like. I this is why I am in the years I've done Halloween Horror Nights. I always do it with either VI when back then it was known as VIP experience and RIP. Oh, I'm sorry, people. RIP tour experience, and then Express Unlimited. But the long waits for general. Fuck, I can't. That's another thing I will never ever do, and just use general because it's just like the long waits for the line. Like fuck that. But overall, let's go back to Chucky Maze. It did have its funny moments. It had like a lot of like animatronics. I didn't really see like an actual like an overinflated doll or they did have a giant doll, a Chucky doll. I forget which part of the maze. But it was overall it was okay. I would say out of 10, I'd give it an 8.5 because it's Chucky, you know. Like I said before, the only people who I kind of feel bad are the people who with general admission. The long wait they have to do, fuck. Because I remember, like when I watched those people waiting in line, I remember when my nephew and me went to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time back in 2013. 10 years ago, mind you. Oh, can you fucking believe that? 10 years ago. We went on November 2nd or 3rd, I forget which. And we went, and I remember at that time they had the mazes were, The Walking Dead was like the whole, like the big thing. They had El Cucuy, they had Black Sabbath. There was a lot of mazes that we didn't do because of the long wait. But we did The Walking Dead. It was like 100 plus minutes wait, and it was a long line in general. I was like, fuck that. And that back then we didn't know anything about VIP or RIP tour. Back then it was VIP experience. We didn't know anything about that. And so we went for The Walking Dead. Holy shit. It was a long wait. So like when I saw that when I saw for the Chucky general admission lines, I immediately put me and my nephew back then in 2013 for The Walking Dead. So, oh man. Okay, on to another one. Universal Monsters Unmasked. That one was okay. That one was not bad at all. It did have its moments. They kind of made me jump. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, but there was some couple parts that kind of like had like this weird smell, like ugh, it made me nauseous. But overall, was it super scary? No, it wasn't. So out of 10, I'll probably give it, I would say a 7 also. I don't know. It's just, it wasn't really scary enough, so I have no comment on it. So I really don't have much to say about Universal Monsters Unmasked. So, okay, now on to Evil Dead Rise. That one was very, very good. And you know, it's funny that I was pretty shocked that they used this one because it's a New Line Cinema product. And it's weird because Universal Studios and New Line Cinema don't really see eye to eye because New Line Cinema is owned by Warner Brothers. And when it comes to like New Line Cinema, they own like the great inner IP properties. Like, for example, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead Rise. But I was pretty shocked that they were allowed to use that property for this year's Halloween Horror Nights. But the mazes, the makeup, the atmosphere, oh man, it was awesome. I love Evil Dead. I actually did that one, I would say, probably like 3 times. I love that maze. That was actually my favorite. But something happened when I went there. It was like a little bit of an incident in terms of the general admission Express and RIP tour. So I'll get back and I will talk about that before I finish recording with this episode. And give my opinion on a lot of things. What's been going on with this year's Horror Nights that I'm not really happy about. But this maze, Evil Dead Rise, out of 10, I would give it an 8.5. It could have been more gorier, more scarier, but overall, Evil Dead Rise was probably one of my favorites. Number 2 favorite. So 8.5. Okay. Now on to Monstruos. The Monsters of Latin America. I would say, people, that was the most underrated maze of Halloween Horror Nights. There was actually a no wait for that maze. Can you believe that? And I went there. It says here, this is what it says in the description. It says, and I quote, "Ten cuidado with la muerte as your guide. You and your Scream Squad must try to survive these terrifying legends. The blood-sucking I'm sorry, please forgive me. I'm going to try to pronounce it. Tlahuelpuchi, an owl face witch La Lechuza, and Bone Ripping El Cibon. And I went through the maze. That made me jump a lot. A lot, trust me. That was my favorite maze of all for Halloween Horror Nights. And I would say that was the most underrated maze for that event. So out of 10, I give it a 9. It was my favorite one. Actually, after Evil Dead Rise, I did that one 4 times. And I loved it. That was one of my favorites. So out of 10, once again, I'll give it a 9. For Monstruos, the Monsters of Latin America. Okay, on to the last one. Holidays in Hell. It's a year-long celebration from New Year's Eve to Thanksgiving. Your favorite holiday to celebrate with you and your friends are going to hell. 'Tis the season to scream into this holiday nightmare. The scarier, the merrier. Okay, they start from New Year's Eve, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Like the entire year. Honestly, I love that maze. But was it scary enough? I would say no. No, it wasn't, people. It was not scary enough. And overall, it was okay. I'm not going to lie to you. Out of 10, so I'm sorry if I don't say much, is because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like this year wasn't really that, didn't really have that it, or it didn't have that it factor. That's just the way I feel, people. So out of 10, I would give that one, okay, another 7. 7 out of 10, people, for this year's Halloween, for Holidays in Hell maze. And the scare zones, I forget which ones, because I didn't really go through them. And let me see if I could find them here. Let me see the things to do. Okay, for Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, here we go. Here are the scare zones. I like them. Ghosts. It says here, as soon as you enter the event, a horde of blood-soaked, chainsaw-wielding ghosts will descend upon you and your screen squad with twisted smiles. These spectral horrors will haunt you. Yeah, I liked it. They were pretty good. The ghost zone, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, toys. This one was pretty that was pretty creepy, but I like this. It says here, toys. A maniacal toy maker is using dark magic to bring evil toys to life, including a porcelain doll, teddy bear, nutcracker, and ballerina. Now these devilish dolls are after you and your friends. That one out of 10, I'll give it an 8. Now this one was out once you get out of the Monstruos maze. They have this one. It's called El Terror de las Momias. It says here, El Terror de las Momias. Villagers unearth an ancient army of mummies. Now you and your squad are the targets of their cursed wrath. And if you manage to escape, you won't get away from Muerte and the goddess of death. And I saw that scare zone. It was pretty good. They really emphasized on the makeups and the whole monsters. I liked it. That was actually one of my favorite scare zones. So that scare zone, out of 10, I'll give it a 9. It was very, very good. And in terms of shows, this one, I was kind of surprised that I didn't even know about this because I wasn't really keeping up with anything. And I saw that for this year there was no Jabberwockies because the special effects building is being demolished. The special effects / Fear Factor building is being demolished to make way for another ride. And I've heard that there's going to be another roller coaster based on the Fast and the Furious franchise. So no Jabberwockies this year. And today, for this year, I believe it was like a purge, like in the place where they film, they do the show Waterworld and the Purge. I gotta say, I liked it. It was very, very awesome. The show, I love how they choreograph the stunts and everything. They do like right on cue. I loved it. That was probably one of my favorite shows. So that show, out of 10, I'll give it a 10. 10 out of 10. That was probably one of my favorite shows. I think that was a pretty excellent show. Okay, so for this year's Halloween Horror Nights, out of the entire event, out of 10, I'll give it a 7. Because I was, as I said at the beginning of this show, I am extremely disappointed that I have spoken to my nephew. He didn't go this year with me because we always go every year. There have been in the past he couldn't go because he got bad grades and stuff, but now he couldn't go because he has school now. But I have talked to him, and he had kind of mentioned it to me when we had a phone conversation. He said to me that they have toned down the scare factor, and he mentioned something that I kind of noticed that last night in Halloween Horror Nights. I noticed that now it's very, very, very crowded. It's extremely, extremely crowded, and I saw that there was a lot of people like filming, especially for TikTok and all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I did load up maybe 3 videos for TikTok, but I wasn't really taking my time filming and all that stuff, acting all how the people on TikTok, especially the TikTokers, act in public. And I don't know, I feel like this year Universal didn't really do their job in making the event more fun. I don't know. Last year was awesome. I went 2 times. I went by myself and I went with my nephew. The year before, in 2021, was excellent. And overall, I feel like look, every time we go to there's a Halloween Horror Nights event, they always do a survey, and they always send an email. They always ask you questions of how it is and all that stuff. And today I signed up for let me show you people. I'm sorry, not let me show you. Let me read on it. It says here that right now I have been confirmed to be a member of the panel membership. It says here, Dear Antonio, on behalf of Universal Parks and Resorts, we would like to thank you for joining our consumer research panel. We look forward to hearing your feedback as we work to make the best theme park experiences around the world. Be on the lookout for the first survey coming soon. Sincerely, the Consumer Insights Team, Universal Parks and Resorts. Okay, because usually I always leave around when the event finishes at 2 a.m. But this year I left early, because I was extremely disappointed. Why am I going to bullshit people? I'm not going to bullshit you guys. This year was not good. Okay, I take it back. It was good, but it was not the best. And a lot of people have talked about this many, many times. Why hasn't has Universal brought it to Halloween Horror Nights? Have you ever wondered about that? Because I do remember, I believe it was 2017 or 2018. I don't remember exactly. Warner Brothers did their own Horror Made Here in Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank. And they did it, and they brought their own little Halloween Horror Nights in their own studio. They had but the new version. They had Friday the 13th, which is Jason. They had Freddy Krueger. At that time, they had The Exorcist, and they only did it for 2 years, but they have never brought it back again. But somehow, that year, I believe it was another Warner Brothers property that they used for Halloween Horror Nights. So, but this year, I don't know. A lot of people have want to see it. I, for one, I would like to see it, but I want to see the 1990 version, the old version. The new one, it was creepy. I'm not going to lie to you. It had a lot of, the special effects were pretty creepy. But the old one, even though it was creepy on its own, but it had more of a psychological horror. Like Tim Curry played Pennywise fucking awesome. He really emphasized, he played the character extremely well. And a lot of people have been begging to see it. Okay, I would like to see that. I, for one, and this is where I'm gonna be biased. I'm actually being biased. Okay, over the years in Halloween Horror Nights, they have done Halloween mazes, which I'm when it comes to Halloween, I always go to it. Nonetheless, it don't matter. I'm a big Michael Myers fan. I'm a mark for Michael Myers. But they have done like in certain mazes, they kind of mix. I forget which one it was. 2015 that they had Michael Myers, or 2016. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Memory's a little bit murky, but I do remember seeing that they had like they put in like remnants of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, but which now in this day and age, it's a masterpiece. So back then when it came out, nobody liked it. I mean, some people still don't like it because it didn't have Michael Myers. Because when you think of Halloween, automatically is Michael Myers. But yeah, and also they have added like certain scenes of Halloween 2 in certain Halloween mazes. I believe it was Halloween 4 or the first one. I don't remember. But I would like for Universal to do Halloween 2 for Halloween Horror Nights, just because I know for a fact, people, that Universal Studios owns the rights to Halloween 2. Imagine, just think about this for 1 second. Imagine if they do a hospital maze, because everyone knows that hospitals on its own are fucking creepy. Just imagine, people, if they were to do a Halloween 2 maze, just a hospital maze. I mean, that would be excellent. That would be extremely, extremely excellent. And in the past, Horror Nights, they have done also like with video games. But it's okay. So before I continue with that, so I would like to see a Halloween 2 maze for Halloween Horror Nights and for a future Halloween Horror Nights. That would be awesome. Another one that would be super, super awesome. I mean, that's just my personal choice. If they do a Silent Hill 2 maze for Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, they have done the Silent Hill 2 maze, but it just, I think it's just based on the movie alone. But they have never ever done on an actual like either Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 3. They have never done that. But would Silent Hill 2 be an excellent maze for Halloween Horror Nights? Yes. Another one that I think someone at Universal, I think it was Miss Debbie Ortiz, mentioned that would be awesome if they were to do this for Halloween Horror Nights, but they did it in Florida. Would be Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice would be fucking awesome. Even though Beetlejuice is not really, it is horror technically, but it's horror comedy. So that would be excellent for a future maze at Halloween Horror Nights. I mentioned that. I mentioned to this young lady that it would be awesome if they were to do a Legend scare zone or something that has to do with this movie Legend. It came out in 1985 with Tom Cruise playing the part of Jack. And the part of Darkness, obviously who it is, fucking Satan, was played by Tim Curry. And if they were to make a scare zone with Darkness, oh man, that would be fucking hey, man. I mean, you know, when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights or anything that has to do with horror or stuff like that, people, I get so excited. I love it. It just like, it's fun, you know? It's fucking fun, you know? But, and also, that's another thing that Universal owns. Legend. That would be an excellent a scare. I don't know if it's a scare zone or a maze, but because Legend is not really a horror; it's actually a fantasy movie. So, but they would use just like the character of Darkness would be for a scare zone would be fucking awesome. So, it's all up to Universal, you know. And This is another comment that I'm gonna make. Because I keep repeating. Sorry to the people that listen to this. I'm sorry, but I've been saying a lot that Universal this year has toned it down. It's not really scary this year, because I know for a fact that when Horror Nights started here, I don't know what year that Halloween Horror Nights really started, but when my nephew and I started going back in 2013, back then it was scarier because they had like El Cucuy, they had The Walking Dead, they had that's another maze that they have not brought back, and I mentioned to the young lady, Black Sabbath. If they were to bring Black Sabbath, people, that would be fucking awesome. But they haven't brought it back since 2013. So it all comes down to the rights. It's always about the rights. But yeah, right now I'm going to make another couple of things that I kind of saw last night in the park that I think that Universal needs to do about. One of them, okay, we all know I have nothing against people filming inside the mazes, because I don't. But I have noticed certain people, I don't know, probably these are not the ones who are not filming, but I've noticed that, and also I've noticed that in the Halloween Horror Nights in Florida, they don't allow filming inside the mazes, which is kind of weird. But the one here in California, they allow it. But I've noticed that sometimes when I'm walking in mazes, I think it was for The Exorcist. No, Chucky. It was for Chucky. I noticed that the people in front of me were stopping, were not even moving. They were ruining the scares on cue, and they were just taking their sweet time. And I actually got a little bit angry that they just didn't kept moving. They just kept fucking just stopping. People should not be selfish, Other people want to see the scare, the ride on cue scares, but yes, some other people were just taking their time. In that aspect, Universal don't do their job accordingly. But another thing that I saw yesterday, and it was at the entrance of the Evil Dead Rise maze. Okay, that's something that I've noticed with a lot of people who buy either RIP Tour or Universal Express Unlimited. I've noticed that with the general admission, some people look at other they're just cutting in line and everything. And yesterday when I think it was the first time I went to the Evil Dead Rise maze, and I scanned for my Express Pass, and I noticed that I was the only one, but there was some other fellow on the right side, which was for the general admission line. He was arguing with one of the workers, the ones that were the Black Rose, the guy people, and I overheard him saying to the young lady, saying, "Oh, I want to talk to your supervisor because I've been waiting 20 minutes in line and this and that, blah blah blah." And the worker said something that made me think a lot, and she's absolutely right. Has anyone ever heard the saying, "You get what you pay for"? Exactly. They don't want to pay a lot of money, and they just want to pay the regular price, and they're going to have to wait, Me personally, okay, it's been 2 years straight. Pardon me. It's been 2 years straight since I haven't done the RIP tour because of money. But this year, this coming year, I'm definitely going to do RIP from now on, and I'll tell you why. And this year, this will be the final time I do Express or Express Unlimited, and I'll tell you why. I saw something that I thought was totally unacceptable by Universal. I don't know why they're doing this. They have their reasons, but me personally, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why. Okay. So the young lady said to that guy, "You get what you pay for," and he just was waiting for his friends, and he just walking, and he saw his friends coming in. He just skipped the line, went with them, and the young lady called the other security, and they kicked that dude out of the lane because he was being a fucking dick. towards the worker. And overall, people, I do believe that Universal needs to step up their game for this next year. They need to step up their game for Halloween Horror Nights 2024. And I know for a fact that John Murdy, the creative director of Halloween Horror Nights, is already getting to work right now. So, all right, this is another thing that this will probably be like the final thing I will mention. I mentioned not that long ago, like that I'm not gonna get Universal Express or Express Unlimited ever again. And this is something that I saw. This was like the first time I said, nope, never again. This will be the final time I get Express or Express Unlimited for Halloween Horror Nights. And I'll tell you why. Because before, this was totally different. But yesterday, for the first time, this has happened. I remember seeing yesterday when I saw how long was the wait for The Exorcist, I believe. And it said there at that time it was 60 minutes. And then for, I'm sorry. It was 100 minutes for The Exorcist. And then for Express, the wait was 20 minutes. I was like, what? What the hell? But they didn't mention the RIP tour. Basically, the RIP tour, you don't have to wait at all. But then yesterday, I saw that for Which is the Maze. Let me look it up right here. The Haunted Houses list. Let me see it right here. For the Unmasked one, the Universal Monsters Unmasked. I don't know if people are listening to this. If you guys went to Horror Nights, tell me if you see this, if you saw this. Because when I went to the actually, I'm sorry, I take it back. It wasn't Universal Monsters Unmasked. It was for Chucky. Because I saw when I went to the Express lane, it was in the middle. I went in and I had to go through this line, and they merged with the general admission line. And when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? Really? Is this how it's supposed to be from now on? And in my mind, I was going, this is fucking unacceptable. Because why? Because look, let me tell you something. I work hard for my money. I work a lot, and I don't go out a lot. And the only thing, like if it's like around spooky season, the only thing that I do for fun is to go to Halloween Horror Nights. But if I want to like go there and if I work hard and I want to pamper myself, I'm going to pay extra money for something like I don't have to wait in line the entire time. But as I said before, I always do RIP, or back then when it was VIP experience and then RIP tour. That's my go-to. And that's going to be from my next year. I am going to get RIP tour from now on. I'm not going to use either Express or Express Unlimited after what I saw last night. Because I do not agree that Universal Studios should be doing that. Because like I said, I work hard, and if I want to pay extra for just to avoid the lines, I'm going to do that. But after what I saw last night, I was like, no, this is fucking unacceptable in my eyes. That is fucking unacceptable. So I was like, nope. Next year, I am going to get myself a RIP tour. Because I do not agree at all that Universal Studios should be merging the Express lane with the general admission line. And I mean, like I said, the people with RIP tour, hey man, you guys deserve it. You work hard and you pay for it. Hey, but me personally, going through the regular Express lane and just to merge with a general admission, no, I do not accept that. And I do think that Universal should be doing better. So in conclusion, this year was not great. I had fun. I'm not going to lie to you. Last night I had fun. And I personally think that for next year, Universal Studios should step up their game with Halloween Horror Nights. Because I do not agree that... And also they should not tone it down, because Halloween Horror Nights is supposed to be scary, you know. So if people, especially Mr. John Murdy, I think I mean, you're the creative director. You're like the head honcho. You just do you just write up and you come up with the mazes and you work to get the rights. You're awesome, Mr. Murdy. But I think that Universal Studios should step up their game with the mazes to make it more scarier and not tone it down just for the sake of the kids. You know, that's just my opinion. So. Well, that about wraps up for this week's podcast. And once again, people, I apologize for not recording a lot because life has a way to get in. But I will be announcing, if you have any questions for me to speak on my podcast, please let me know, and I'll just answer them. I mean, you could email me at talkwithantonio@gmail.com, and you can find me on Twitter with talkwithantonio, and also I have a TikTok. If you want to send me a message through TikTok, you could find me at it's well, let me tell you, it's at talkwithantonio7 on TikTok. You can find me there. If you have any questions, please let me know. Email me at talkwithantonio@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to answer any type of questions, you know, and it'll be awesome to answer people questions. So, to people that are listening, have a great night and always be safe. I love you all. Thank you. Have a great night.